Hello, this is Chitran Shaksana from Just Tutors. Today in this video we are going to learn more about management of natural resources. These are the main objectives of the topic of the video, which are forest and wildlife management, water for all, coal and petroleum. Starting with forest and wildlife management, we know that both forests and wildlife are essential for ecological balance of all ecosystems. They maintain biological diversity, prevent floods, provide vegetables and fruits retrieval. They are the invaluable wealth of a country and renewable natural resources. Forests constitute 90% of global biomass. They are uncultivated and inhabited land area managed for diverse purposes of forestry, whether covered with trees, shrubs, climbers, etc. or not. Stakeholders, people who are benefited or wants to benefit the forests. They are the person or the company that has invested in business and owns a part of it, or someone who has an interest in the success of of a system or an organization. The four stakeholders of forest are the people who live in or around forest, the forest department, the industrialist, and the wildlife and nature enthusiast. Conservation of forest. Conservation may be defined as the controlled utilization of natural resources for the benefit of all life so that it may yield sustainable benefit to the present generations as well as the future generations. It includes afforestation, reforestation, and grazing. The very first is afforestation. It refers to the process of converting a non-forest land into a forest. It is highly important to maintain the biodiversity. The second is reforestation. It is the re-establishment of destroyed forests by planting new trees. The third and last is grazing. Grazing is a method of feeding in which a herbivore feeds on plants such as grasses. Some of the acts which were made to conserve forests are 1980 Forest Conservation Act, 1988 National Forest Policy, 1922 Joint Forest Management by 17 states, and the Chipko movement. The Chipko movement began in the early 1980s from a small village Reni in Garhwal district. The women of the village began hugging a tree to prevent the cutting of trees by the contractors. This movement later spread to other parts of India. It had been instrumental in stopping deforestation to a large extent. Now, coming to water. It is basic necessity of all life forms which covers 7.1% of the earth's surface. Sorry, it is meant to be 71%. Let me correct it here for you. Approx 71% of earth's surface. Water resources are sources of water that are potentially useful. Uses of water include agricultural, industrial, household, recreational, and environmental activities. Now, the question here is what caused water scarcity? Before having a discussion on it, we must understand that what is water scarcity. Water scarcity can mean scarcity in availability due to physical shortage or scarcity in the access due to the failure of institutions to ensure a large supply or due to a lack of adequate infrastructure. Water scarcity already affects every continent. Water use has been growing globally at more than twice at the rate of population increase in the last century, and an increasing number of regions are reaching the limit that which water services can be sustainably delivered, especially in arid regions. Water scarcity will be exacerbated as rapidly growing urban areas place heavy pressure on neighboring water resources. Climate change and bioenergy demands are also expected to amplify the already complex relationship between world development and water demand. Now, what are the reasons of water scarcity? There are lot many reasons which causes water scarcity. Some of them are as less rainfall, diversion for high water, demanding crops, pollution, overuse of water, wastage of water, drought, conflict, distance, restrictions by government, destruction of water catchment areas, etc. we need to manage or we need to have a management to conserve water as well. So we will learn about water and management here. When we talk about it, the first question arises in my mind is that what is water management and why it is necessary or important. So at the outset, we will learn and understand what is water management. It is the control and movement of water resources to minimize damage to life and property and to maximize efficient beneficial use. Good water management of dams and levees reduces the risk of harm due to flooding. Irrigation water management systems make the most efficient use of limited water supplies for agriculture. Drainage management involves water budgeting and analysis of surface and subsurface drainage systems. Sometimes management involves changing practices such as groundwater withdrawal rates or allocation of water to different purposes. Water management is important since it helps determine future irrigation expectations. Water management is the management of water resources under set policies and regulations. Water, once an abundant natural resource, is becoming a more valuable commodity due to droughts and overuse. So today we will look some methods which are used to conserve water. The very first we use is water harvesting. It is basically the direct collection of rainwater. Rainwater collected can be stored for direct use or can be discharged into the groundwater. It means capturing rain where it falls or capturing the runoff in your own village or town and taking measures to keep that water clean by not allowing polluting activities to take place in the catchment. What is need for rainwater harvesting? Well, groundwater is a pretty precious natural resource. It plays a significant role in our national economy and in our daily life. It is the primary resource of water for domestic, industrial, as well as irrigation sectors. Rainwater harvesting is a technique of increasing the recharge of groundwater by capturing and storing rainwater by the construction of special water harvesting structures. We also use dams for water management or the conservation of water. The construction of big dams and river valley projects which are required for hydroelectric power generations have affected the forests. Big dams and river valley projects have multiple uses. The main purpose of building dams are for water storage irrigation, electricity generation and flood control. Large dams can also ensure the storage of sufficient water for two purposes. Like one could be canal system from these canals distribute water to far away places which where have lack of water. Now there are some problems also by building dams that like no equal distributions of water, vast area of land is consumed and so on you can see on the slide. By 2015, the dam industry has had choked more than one half of the Earth's major rivers with some 57,000 large dams. The consequences of this massive engineering program have been devastating. The world's large dams have wiped out species, flooded huge areas of wetlands, forests, and farmlands, and displaced tens of millions of people. The another most important natural resource are coal and petroleum. These are the fossil fuels and are important energy of source. They are non-renewable source of energy which have some disadvantages as well as advantages. Disadvantages of these coal and petroleum are like air pollution, acid rain and greenhouse effect. Advantages are they are cost effective, easy to use and readily available. Most extensively used fossil fuels are coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Such fuels are obtained from underground and seabed exploration. However, due to uncontrolled consumption by the ever increasing population in the world, such fossil fuels may perish in coming years. Most of the world's energy requirements are met from petroleum and natural gas. That is why their management and conservation is highly required. Now, we have some practice questions on the basis of the video we have learned in this video. Pause the video, try these questions. Here we have answers for those practice questions. If your answers are correct, then very well done. You have made a tremendous progress in this topic. That is all for the day. Now we will meet in the next video. For more videos, you could log on to justtutors.com. Thank you.